The red wine dripped down my designer white dress, creating a pattern that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent. Around us, the annual Thompson Family Charity Gala came to a stuttering halt. 300 of Boston's elite stopped their champagne sipping and caviar sampling to stare at the spectacle before them. Mother stood there, empty crystal glass still raised, her perfectly styled silver hair catching the chandelier light. Next to her, my sister Victoria smirked behind her flute of champagne, while my brother James adjusted his bow tie nervously. "Always so dramatic, Mother," I said softly, dabbing at my face with the napkin a horrified waiter had thrust forward. "Though I must say, throwing Chateau Lafite Rothschild 1982 seems rather wasteful, even for you. How dare you show your face here?" Mother's voice carried across the ballroom. "After what you did." Ah yes, what I did. The unforgivable sin of declining to join the family investment firm and instead starting my own tech company. The shame of choosing Silicon Valley over Boston's old money circles. The embarrassment of being self-made rather than trust fund supported. "I was invited," I replied calmly, showing her the embossed invitation. "By grandfather's foundation board." That made her pause. The foundation board, the true holders of the Thompson family purse strings, had always been Mother's domain. The fact that they'd invited me without her knowledge clearly rattled her. "Well, uninvite yourself." Victoria chimed in, her tennis bracelet jingling as she gestured dismissively. "We don't need your kind here." "My kind?" I raised an eyebrow. "You mean successful entrepreneurs?" James stepped forward, ever the attempted peacemaker. "Come on, sis, you know how these events work. Appearance is everything, and you're not exactly traditional." Traditional. Code for following the Thompson family playbook. Marry rich, maintain appearances, and never ever work for a living. I'd broken all three rules. "You've embarrassed this family enough," Mother hissed, stepping closer. Her Cartier necklace caught the light, the same one she'd refused to sell, even when the family investments had taken a hit last year. "Running off to California, playing with computers like some common tech worker. We've carried you for years, paid your way through school, which I paid back," I interrupted. "Every penny, with interest. Money you made selling that ridiculous app." She waved her hand dismissively. "Virtual nonsense. Not real business like the Thompson Investment Group." I checked my phone, 11:45 p.m. Perfect timing. Speaking of investments, I smiled slightly. "How is the firm doing?" "Still recovering from last year's difficulties." Mother's face tightened. The difficulties, a series of bad investments that had cost the firm millions, were not to be mentioned in public. "We're fine," she snapped. "No thanks to you and your refusal to help." "Help?" I laughed softly. "You mean the emergency fund request you sent last December? The one where you needed $20 million to cover the firm's losses?" Victoria's smirk faltered. James tugged at his collar. "That was a private family matter." Mother's voice dropped dangerously low. "Like this scene you're causing isn't." I glanced at my watch. 11:50 p.m. "You ungrateful little." Mother's face flushed red. "That's it, you're cut off. No more access to family accounts, no more trust fund, no more." "Mother," I interrupted gently. "When was the last time you checked those accounts?" She blinked, thrown off rhythm. "What? The family accounts, the trust funds, the investment portfolios. When did you last look at them?" "This morning, of course." "I always try again now," I suggested, showing her my phone screen. 11:55 p.m. Mother fumbled with her phone, manicured fingers shaking slightly as she pulled up her banking app. Victoria and James leaned in to look. "What? This must be a mistake." Mother's voice wavered. "The accounts, they're frozen," I supplied helpfully. "Yes, that tends to happen when the primary benefactor terminates payment support." "Primary, what are you talking about?" James asked, his face pale. "Did you really think grandfather's foundation invited me here by accident?" I smiled, as my phone showed midnight. "They needed my signature, as the new majority shareholder of Thompson Investment Group." Mother's phone slipped from her fingers, clattering on the marble floor. "That's impossible. The firm isn't public. The shares are family-controlled." "They were," I agreed, "until last year's difficulties forced a private sale." "Would you like to know who bought them?" Victoria's champagne glass froze halfway to her lips. "You didn't, that ridiculous app. You dismissed." I stepped closer to Mother. "It sold last month. For $8 billion. More than enough to buy controlling interest in a struggling family investment firm." The ballroom was silent now, 300 of Boston's finest watching the drama unfold. Mother's face had gone from red to white. "You can't," she whispered. "I can. I did. And as of midnight, I checked my watch one final time. I own 51% of everything the Thompson family has." Mother's credit card declined at the bar 20 minutes later. It was just the beginning. The morning after the gala, I sat in what used to be Mother's office at Thompson Investment Group, reviewing the damage of her last year of mismanagement. The view of Boston Harbor was exactly as I remembered from childhood visits, but the leather chair felt different when you owned it. Miss Thompson, my new assistant Rachel, appeared at the door. "Your mother is here, again. She's demanding to see you." "Let me guess, she's tried all her credit cards this morning." Rachel nodded. "And apparently her Bergdorf's account was declined. She's not happy." "Send her in," I said, pulling up the financial records on my laptop. "And Rachel, hold all calls." Mother stormed in wearing yesterday's Chanel suit, a first in Thompson family history. Her perfect makeup couldn't hide the dark circles under her eyes. "What have you done?" she demanded, slamming her hands on the desk. A stack of declined credit card notifications scattered across the surface. "I've done exactly what you taught me," I replied calmly. "Always secure your position, remember. Isn't that what you told Victoria when she married that hedge fund manager? This is different. This is our family legacy. A legacy you were running into the ground." I turned my laptop to face her. 7 failed investments in the last year. 3 margin calls. 2 defaulted loans. "Would you like me to continue?" Mother sank into the chair across from me, her composure cracking. "We had a temporary cash flow issue. Nothing serious." "Nothing serious." I laughed. "You lost $80 million betting against tech stocks, including my company's IPO, by the way. Was that your way of trying to teach me a lesson?" She flinched. "The market was volatile. The market was changing, and you were too proud to see it. Too busy maintaining appearances to notice that your traditional investment strategy was becoming obsolete." My phone buzzed. Victoria probably calling about her frozen trust fund. I declined the call. "Your sister needs that money," Mother said sharply. Her husband lost half their savings in crypto scams last year." I interrupted. "Yes, I know all about that too. The audit team has been very thorough." Mother's face paled further. "Audit team? Did you think I'd buy the company without looking into every transaction, every account, every questionable decision you made to keep up appearances? You had no right. I had every right. Just like you had every right to throw wine in my face and call me a leech in front of Boston's elite." I leaned forward. "How does it feel, Mother, being on the other side of power?" She straightened her spine. "The perfect Boston socialite, even in crisis." "What do you want?" "Want?" I smiled. "I want what you never gave me. Respect. Recognition. A seat at the table I earned rather than inherited." "You have it now," she said bitterly. "You've won. Are you happy?" "This isn't about happiness, Mother. It's about accountability." I pulled out a folder. "These are the new terms for family access to company funds. Strict monthly allowances. Oversight on all spending. Regular financial reviews." "An allowance." She spat the word. "Like children. Like people who've proven they can't be trusted with unlimited access to family money." I slid the papers across the desk. "Sign, and you keep a lifestyle. Refuse and well, I hear public transportation has improved significantly." Mother's hand shook as she reached for the papers. "Your father would be ashamed." "Dad was ashamed of a lot of things," I replied coolly. "Mostly how you spent his money after he died. Those records were particularly interesting reading." She froze, pen hovering over the signature line. "You found everything. The secret accounts, the diverted inheritance, the money that was supposed to go to his medical research foundation." I met her eyes. "Did you really think those Aspen vacations were worth betraying his last wish?" The pen clattered from her fingers. For the first time in my life, I saw real fear in my mother's eyes. "The foundation board meets next week," I continued. "They're very interested in reviewing Dad's original wishes for his estate. Very interested indeed." "You wouldn't dare," she whispered. "It would destroy our reputation. Sign the papers, Mother. Take the allowance. Follow the rules, or tomorrow Boston's elite will learn exactly how their favorite socialite honored her late husband's legacy." The scratch of pen on paper was the only sound in the office for several long moments. When Mother finally looked up, something had changed in her expression, something that looked almost like respect. "You really are your father's daughter," she said quietly. "No," I corrected her, taking the signed papers. "I'm my own person. That's what terrifies you." As she left the office, my office, I checked my phone. 57 missed calls from Victoria, 38 from James, and 1 from the foundation board confirming next week's meeting. I smiled, remembering the wine dripping down my dress just yesterday. Mother had tried to cut me off, not realizing I'd already cut the strings long ago. The view of Boston Harbor had never looked better. A week later, I stood in the Thompson Family Foundation boardroom, facing the 12 members who'd witnessed my rise from rejected daughter to corporate owner. The mahogany walls had witnessed decades of Thompson family decisions, but never one quite like this. "The numbers are conclusive," I said, clicking through my presentation. "Over the past 5 years, approximately $43 million were diverted from Dad's Medical Research Foundation into private accounts managed exclusively by my mother." Victoria sat in the back corner, her designer outfit noticeably less extravagant than usual. The new allowance was already showing its effects. James slouched beside her, his wedding ring conspicuously absent after his wife had discovered their joint accounts were empty. "These funds," I continued, "were specifically earmarked for pancreatic cancer research, the disease that took our father. Instead, they funded ski chalets, yacht parties, and what appears to be a rather impressive collection of rare wines." Mother sat rigidly in her chair, her knuckles white around her empty water glass. "No more wine at foundation meetings. Another new rule." "Miss Thompson," board member Harrison leaned forward, "these allegations are extremely serious. If proven true." "Not allegations," I interrupted, sliding folders across the table. "Facts, complete with transaction records, bank statements, and my mother's personal signatures on every transfer." Victoria stood up suddenly. "This is ridiculous. Mother was managing those funds for the family's benefit." "Sit down, Victoria," I said quietly, "unless you'd like me to pull up the records of your husband's embezzlement next." She sank back into her chair, face flushing. "The foundation's purpose," I continued, "was to fund research that might prevent other families from losing loved ones to pancreatic cancer. Instead, it became a personal ATM for lifestyle maintenance. We had appearances to maintain." Mother finally spoke, her voice tight. The Thompson name," I cut in, "was built on Dad's medical innovations. His patents, his research, everything you've been living on. He earned it, and his final wish was to give back." Board member Harrison cleared his throat. "What are you proposing, Miss Thompson?" I clicked to my final slide. "Complete restructuring, new board oversight, direct partnerships with research hospitals, and most importantly, the immediate recovery of all diverted funds." "You can't be serious," James stammered. "That money's gone. Spent." "Not all of it," I smiled slightly. "The Aspen property, the yacht, the wine collection, all purchased with foundation money, all legally recoverable, and worth significantly more now than when they were acquired." Mother's water glass shattered in her grip. "Additionally," I continued as if I hadn't heard the crash, "I'm pledging $1 billion from my personal funds to restart Dad's original research program. With proper oversight this time." The boardroom erupted in murmurs. Even Victoria looked stunned. $1 billion, Mother whispered. "You'd give away that much?" "Give away?" I turned to her. "No, Mother, I'm investing in something real, something that matters, not in maintaining some artificial social status." "The board will need time to review these proposals," Harrison said, but I could see the decision in his eyes already. "Of course," I nodded, "though you should know that the IRS and SEC have already received copies of all documentation. They're quite interested in the foundation." "Creative accounting." Mother stood up so quickly her chair toppled backward. "You reported us to the authorities." "No, Mother, I reported financial crimes to the relevant oversight bodies. The fact that you committed them is your responsibility, not mine." Victoria burst into tears. James looked like he might be sick. "The allowance offer still stands," I added. "Sign the new agreements. Follow the rules and you'll maintain a comfortable lifestyle. Fight this. And I shrugged. Well, orange isn't really your color, Mother. The boardroom cleared quickly after that. As Mother walked past me, she paused. Your father, she said softly. He wanted to change the world with his research. I thought maintaining our position in society was more important. I know, I replied. That's why I had to take control. The company, the foundation, the money. You planned this all along, didn't you? Even before the gala, I smiled, remembering the wine dripping down my dress. Let's just say I learned from the best. You taught me to play the long game, Mother. I just played it better. She nodded slowly, a flicker of pride crossing her face before vanishing. What happens now? Now I gathered my files. Now we do what Dad always wanted. We make a difference. Whether you choose to be part of that is up to you. As she left, I looked out the boardroom windows at the Boston skyline. Somewhere in this city, a research lab would soon make breakthroughs that could save lives. Dad's legacy would finally fulfill its purpose. My phone buzzed. The foundation's lawyers confirming the asset recovery process had begun. Mother's precious wine collection would be auctioned next week. I smiled, remembering her words at the gala. She'd called me a leech, never realizing I was actually the one supporting everything all along.